Hello guys, welcome to another wonderful day. On today's video, I will be putting you through how to create an event flyer like the one I have on my screen. I remain your host Agu Joseph. Please, if you are new to my channel, do well to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to give this video a like. You can also check me up on my socials at YJ Digital World. So let's get into it. In doing this, I'll be making use of Photoshop 2020. So first of all, in order to achieve this project, I have to create a workspace, which is my Canva, which I'll be using to achieve this project. So for me to do that, I'll come over here, click on the create document. So I will be calling this ladies hangout. That is the theme of the event. Okay. Our measurement unit is in inches, width and height, 4 inches of height and 4 inches of width, 300 resolution. Likewise, my color mode is on RGB. I'll click on create. So here you have the workspace, which is called the Canva, on which this project will be carried out on. So one of the first things I'll be placing in my Canva workspace is my background. I'll try to create my background by using some of the images I got on the internet. So I'll drag this into my Photoshop workspace and check on it. So after doing that, next step in which I'll be taking this project to is by creating a little bit of contrast with my background. One of the way of creating contrast is by blurring it. So I come to filter here, Gaussian blur, and I'll adjust the visibility of my background to, let me see, okay, I think this is good enough. So after doing that, come over to my adjustment panel over here. I'll create a gradient map. Okay, I've already created the gradients I'll be using for this project. Here is it, and here are the hex code for it. So on my shadow here is the hex code. Here is the code for the color. On my highlight here are the hex code. So I'll click on OK, and that's that for that. So after adding the gradients, I'll change the blending mode to overlay. Okay, this is before and this is after. So after doing that, another thing I'll be doing is adding a little bit of brightness to this. I'll come to my adjustment panel, click on curves and add a little bit of brightness. I don't need it to be too strong. I think this is okay. So after doing that, I'll come over here, select the first layer and select the last layer. I'll group them together so that my layers won't be contradicting. So I'll double click and call this background, that is BG. So the next element I'll be placing is the element of my model. So I have to drag in the model image into my Photoshop works. Okay, come over here, drag it and position it somewhere around here, and I'll choose to scale it up. Check. So after doing this, one of the ways I create depth of my image is by duplicating the image yourself. That is the model image. Comes to filter, come to order, all the way to high pass. Then I reduce it to about 1.2 radius. Okay, I click on OK here, change my blending mode to hard light. Okay, after changing my blending mode to hard light, I'll click on the original layer where I have my model. You can see this before and this after. Okay, where I have my model, I'll come to here on my adjustment panel, click on hues and saturation. I'll click max it, then I'll desaturate the color a little bit. You can see the effect, so I'll desaturate it a little bit. I think this is okay. After doing that, I can come back to here as well. Again, add curves. Okay, add a little bit of highlight, clip marks please, so that the effect will be only on the model. Add a little bit of highlight and a little bit of shadow where needed. You don't need it to be too strong on this. Okay, you can see. So I can do that by adjusting the strength and brightness of colors of my model. So after doing that, I'll select the whole layers and I'll group them together. Okay, and I'll call this model. So after that, the next thing I'll be doing is to add a little bit of brightness. So I'll come back to here, select curves, add a little bit of brightness, a little on this. So after doing that, one of the ways in which I create depth in terms of background is by adding other image elements, but not that necessary. I only place them just to create a little bit of contrast and drama with my background. So I got this flower out of this precisely. I got this flower out of this, so I've already cropped it. I'll just drag it into my Photoshop workspace and place it around here. Okay, so this first one here, I'll place it somewhere around here. Okay, I'll double click and make another duplicate, Ctrl J to make duplicate. So I'll drag this beneath the model layer, the model group here. Ctrl T, I'll drag it and place it around here. I'll scale it up a little. Okay, you can also adjust the rotation, the direction precisely. Okay, I'll double click to check, make another duplicate, Ctrl J, Ctrl T, transform. Okay, I can scale it down, drag it and position it somewhere around here precisely. Okay, now you can see I have two in these places, one and the front of my model. So the one in front of my model precisely, I'll add a little bit of a motion blur to it. So I'll select it, this is it. I don't need it to be too visible, so I come to blur here, all over to motion blur. Okay, my blur radius is set at 41, so I'll click on this. Then the one directly behind her, I'll select it. I'll go all over to filter, Gaussian blur. Okay, and reduce it to about 7 pixels, or radius we call it. Then after doing that, I'll come over here, change the blending mode to soft light. Okay, okay, then after that, I'll come to the one at the top here. I'll select it. Okay, change the blending mode to soft light as well, and reduce the opacity to about 26 precisely. Okay, I don't need them to be too visible. Okay, so after doing that, the next thing I'll be doing is applying my light effects to create a little bit of realism on the model. Okay, if you notice at this side I have light, so I need a reflection of the light on the model. Likewise on this side and on the hair region as well. So I'll come over here, add a new layer. After adding a new layer, pick my brush, set it on 100 opacity percentage and flow 100% as well. So I'll hold my Alt on my keyboard, sample a color around this region here. Okay, Alt, I've picked a color around here. I'll scale it down, just come somewhere here, left click. So after left clicking, so I'll come here, I'll change my blending mode to screen. Okay, and reduce the opacity to about 28 to reduce how strong the brightness is. You can see the effect on the model face. So I can also add another new layer here. Pick my brush, hold Alt, sample color around this region, and come here again, left click. After left clicking, you can change it to screen as well. You can see this before and this after. So I can also reduce the strength to about 46, the opacity to 46, this before and this after. You can see the effect on the model. Okay, come over here as well, click on new layer and come over here and just come here and left click. I need a little bit of the light on the hair. So after clicking, I'll also go back to my blending mode and change it to hard light. Okay, after changing it to hard light, also adjust my opacity to about 72. I don't need it to be too strong on the hair, you understand? So this is like a light reflection coming from this side of the hair. Okay, so after doing that, that's for that. So in the next phase of this project is where we have to be placing other elements. But before doing that, I need to balance the colors. Okay, so I'll be creating a gradients map here. Click on my gradients map, come over here to my gradients presets. So here is the preset I'll be using. I've already created it. On my shadows, here are the hex code I'm using. On my highlights, here are the hex code for the highlights. So I'll click on OK, I'll click on OK. That's for that. So I'll change my blending mode to hard light precisely. Okay, then I can come here and adjust my opacity to about 62%. Okay, so after doing that, I'm done with all that has to do with the background and the model image. So in the next phase of this project, I'll be adding the text we'll be using to pass the information needed for this design. So for me to structure my text properly on my design, I always set my guides. So I'll set my guide, and here are the parameters I normally use to set my guide based on the size of my document. Okay, so I'll come over here, pick the first set of text. Okay, copy it, come over here, pick my text tool. Okay, pick my text tool, then all I have to do is paste it in here and change my color to white. Change my text color to white. Change my font to Montserrat, that is the font I'm using. Okay, I change this to medium under Montserrat's various type. So I'll select only the present and then change it to regular. Okay, now why I did this is to create what we call hierarchy among elements in designs. So I need more emphasis to be on the main organizers, not on the present. So And one of the ways to create hierarchy is by laying emphasis on some of the text, and that is the text that are important, and less emphasis on those that are not very important to the project. So I'll scale this, increasing the tracking a little. So after doing that, I'll come over here, pick the next set of text, I'll copy it, pick my text tool here, left click, and I'll paste it in. After pasting it in, I'll check, come over here on my character panel. So I'll scroll all over to the top. I'll be using this font called the Agu Joseph Charms. In case you don't have your character panel here, you can always come to your window menu here and click on character. You see mine is already active, so I'll just come here, Ctrl T. So after increasing the size of my text, I can come over here to reduce my readings, the spacing between text vertically. I think this is okay for this. So after doing that, I'll come here holding Ctrl and Alt to make a duplicate of the text at the top. Okay, and place it here. Okay, after placing it here, I'll come over to my notepad, copy this set of text. Okay, then pick my text to edit this and paste in the text here. Okay, so after pasting it, I'll come here and reduce my tracking to 0. Okay, then select this set of text. I don't need much emphasis on them, so I'll return this to regular and increase this to semi-bold or bold precisely to create emphasis among elements in design. So you can use size to create emphasis among elements in design. So I can come here and adjust the space between them, hold Ctrl and Alt, make another duplicate and slide it this way. Okay, and come back to my notepad, copy this set of text, come here, pick my text tool, edit this. Okay, I'll change this set of text to regular as well. I'll check. Okay, now after doing that, the next set of text I'll be bringing in is the date and the time of the event. So I'll come to my shape tool here, select the ellipse or eclipse tool, you call it the way you pronounce it. So start picking it, I'll come over here. Okay, and this the color code I'm using. I got this color from here using my eyedropper tool to pick the color from the background there. Okay, that's where I got my color. So one of the best way to achieve success in every design is to pick color from other colors in the background of your element or color on your subjects. Okay, you can pick color from the gene, the flower, and the other parts of this image. Okay, so I also make a duplicate of this, Ctrl J, and drag it this way. Okay, after doing that, pick this tool here, the tool for your ellipse. So I'll come here, turn off the fill and turn on stroke, select white stroke and increase the radius to about 3 pixels. Okay, so after doing that, I'll pick my text tool as well, come over here, select the date, I'll copy it, paste the date here. Okay, so after pasting it here, I'll come over here where I have this December, come over here, I'll change it to black and increase the size. Okay, after increasing the size, I'll align the text to the middle. After aligning the text, then I'll come here, increase the leadings. I think this is okay. I think this is okay. So after doing that, come here as well, make an adjustment to this and change this to something bold. Okay, so I'll left click and drag it to somewhere around here. Now I'll hold Ctrl on my keyboard. You'll see what happens to this particular layer. My mouse pointer changes to this, so I'll just make a quick selection to this. I'll just hold Ctrl and click. So after doing that, make sure your move tool is selected. You align horizontally and vertically to the center. Ctrl D to deselect, Ctrl T to transform, hold Alt and scale out a little. Okay, so after doing that, come over here, make a duplicate of this and slide it horizontally this way as well. Okay, I'll hold Ctrl and make sure this is aligned to the middle as well with this circle. Ctrl deselect, come here, the date is 10 p.m. so set this as 10 and this as p.m. as p.m. Okay, so I pick my text tool here. I'll increase the size of this text a little to about 7.76. I'll copy it, come over here, I'll check, come over here, select this and paste it in here. Okay, so after that I'll select them together and I'll group them. Okay, I'll call this date. So I'll select this other set of text and I'll group them. I'll call them host. Okay, so I'm trying to group each of my elements in order for me to organize my layer properly. So after doing that, I can also come here and copy the address where the event will be taking place. So I'll copy it, come over here with my text tool here, left click and paste it in here, check. So I'll come over here, select this other set of text and reduce the type family to about regular, then reduce the actual size. After that, click on OK. Okay, so after doing that, come to my resource panel here and bring in my location icon here. So I just double click on this. Okay, pick my Q tool here and make this selection. Hit Ctrl J to make a duplicate and delete this. And right click and convert this to a smart object. So guys, if you want to maintain the actual resolution of your image, always convert them to smart objects so that the image won't actually lose its actual value in terms of quality. So after doing that, Ctrl T, I'll scale down, pick my move tool here and position this alongside this. Okay, so I'll come here and adjust the positions of this, can select the location and still make an adjustment to the size. Okay, I'll check, select the 2 layers and adjust the actual position. Okay, so after doing that, I think one of the other thing I'll do is placing this last set of text. Pick my text tool, left click and paste it in here. Okay, start pasting it in, Ctrl T, transform and increase the actual size. I'll check, change my font back to Montserrat. So after changing it to Montserrat, and come here, select this and change this to bold, and come over here, select this and change this to regular. Okay, you can see, you can also still choose to actually reduce the size. Click on OK. So after doing that, the last thing I'll be doing is to place the drinking IQ icon. So I'll just drag it into my Photoshop workspace here. Okay, after dragging it, I'll check, pick my rectangular marquee tool and make this selection. After making this selection, hit Ctrl J to make duplicate, delete the original layer, right click and convert to a smart object, Ctrl T, transform, scale down the size, check, use your move tool and position this. Okay, so that's for that. So if you want to me, I'm done with this flyer. So if you want to take it a step further, you can also try other things, such as coming to your adjustment panel here, over to hue to color lookup here, under your color lookup, and come here and try other things. You can preview, you can see how it looks with different color lookup extensions. Okay, you can just try out, you see the one that fits. So that's that. So ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this tutorial. So if you do enjoy this tutorial, don't forget to give this video a like. Don't also forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new to the channel. And if you have a comment, you can leave your comment in the comment section. You can also follow me on my socials at YG Digital World. So thank you guys for watching.